And it was at times like this that we took some more pictures and kept some more memories alive. Billy, I'm going to ask you to come to the mic for the eulogy. Thank you.
Morning, everyone. I think I've stressed more about this eulogy than any sermon that I've ever given. I'm just going to start with a couple of thanks as well. And firstly to Koki, and thank you very much for doing this service and just for the spiritual guidance that you've given to my family and especially my dad over the years. Thank you. Rachel, thanks so much for the music and for the singing. Can we borrow sometime? Thank you. Also for Craig, for the slides. Thank you very much, Craig. Just St. Joseph's as well. Just want to thank them for all their help and kindness. To Marty, Margaret, and Nick for looking after Dad during his illness, his last few weeks and months. It's so difficult to do all these thank yous because you're going to leave somebody out. But just thanks to everyone, to Jess, the years looking after Dad, sorting out his medication and so on. Where's Jess?
Right.
Oh, there you are, Dee. Oh, thanks, Jess. And everybody that had a hand in organising the service today, getting the photos together, getting the order of service sorted. Gina as well did a lot of work there. Thanks, love, for everything you did as well. Trying to think who else I missed out. To Rosalie Funeral Home, thank you to them as well. They came to Home Affairs. I think if they weren't with me there, I'd still be standing in the queue trying to get a death certificate. So they helped out a lot and sorted out so much as well, and thank you to them. They just, Dad's life, thinking about it, and I mean, the memories just keep flooding in. I don't know where to start. I think they're on the farm on Balmoral, and he used to drive through every day, and he loved the cattle. Our trips down to the bushveld, there's so many memories there, stopping there, getting the chips and the rations, dipping the cattle, and then I think when the Steelpoort River used to come down and we'd go over in a cable cart. Old Lisbeth that used to make our pop and mince afterwards. I've never tasted such good pop and mince before, I think it was probably because you're hungry after working with the cattle, so I suppose anything would have tasted good, but there's memories that just stuck with you, it's this week, I don't know if perhaps some of you as well were maybe tempted just to phone the old man. I was, because he always used to phone and find out, that's something about him, is that he'd have compassion and take part in a person's life. He was always interested in what you were doing. And I'm busy there with the drill, and he'd always be phoning, how's it going? Did you find water? How's the engine? Is it still going? Did it break again? He was always concerned. And I'm going to miss that. I'm going to miss him calling and phoning and, are you coming back tonight? Is the truck staying there? Is it coming back? He was always interested and took interest in people's lives. So he had that genuine concern for people. Veronica from Rosalie, she was saying when she saw Dad's picture, then she remembered who he was because she used to work at old JJ Auctioneers. I mean, the whole man we used to go and visit when you're on there at JJ Auctioneers and drink coffee there. And one thing that she could say about him was, what a gentle soul he was and what a gentleman he was. And I think all people that met the old man can say, he was a gentleman. He had this gentle soul. There was a kindness to him. And we get these often, I suppose, these phrases, grumpy old man and a mean old man. And often people would, as they grow older, become grumpy and mean. But I think with Dad it was the opposite. He became more gentler and more compassionate and more kind, and I just thank God for that. If we can, I suppose, take any good out of this COVID pandemic that came along, was that Dad and Mom had to move to the farm together this last year, and Mom, he really just enjoyed having you there this last year, and I could see that, and I was so much aware of that, and so were so many, that I was just so thankful to be with you and have you on the farm now. And so if anything good came out of it, that was that. And he will be, he will be sorely missed. I mean, there's a big void, I suppose, in all of our lives, because he's not there anymore. But we do trust and we thank our Lord Jesus Christ that he did die for us, and we trust that he's with the Lord now, and may that be our comfort. And I'm sure there's other folk that are going to come up here now, and everyone's got their own memories of the old man, and keep them, cherish them, and just continue looking towards the Lord during this time. Thank you.
Ready? Shawnee. There you are.
I wanted to write a letter for Opie because I wanted to tell him, how much he meant to me and the impact he made on my life, and just commemorate all the memories that we shared. So, dear Opie, thank you for all the amazing memories you made with me. Thank you for letting me play farmer with your cattle and instilling in me a great love for animals. Thank you for taking me to my first cattle auction and naming that little calf you rescued after me. It made me feel so special. I'll never forget your hilarious stories. I've heard them so many times and I still love them. My favorite story is the one where you dressed up as a ghost to scare a group of people staying overnight at a haunted house. These stories taught me to find humor in life because it's the funny moments that end up being the most memorable. Another memory of us that I love is when you saw me dancing in the kitchen and said that if you were just a little bit younger, you would have shown me how it's done. I love that you always looked at me with so much pride, coming to my athletic events, to my concerts, and making me feel like no one there can compare to me. Thank you for showing me what love is supposed to look like in the way you loved Nana. I'm so grateful that I got to hold your hand the last time I saw you. I love you so much, Opie. You will forever make an impact on how I view the world. Opie and I always used to greet each other like this. When I see him and when I leave, we always used to do this. It was a game that we played, who could do it first. There wasn't really a point to it, but I just want to say goodbye to Opie. I love you so much.
Thank you for sharing that with us, Shawnee. It's very special. If there's anybody else after this that also want to come and say something, it's your time. If you remember something that you'd like to share with the rest of us, then please come and do so.
Hello everybody. I'm supposed to be the last to be standing here, but I want to talk out of my heart. First of all, there's no words that can explain our dad. First of all, he was a husband, and for that, Mom, thank you for the love, the care, loving treatment you gave him all these years. For two people to become 90, you have the win-win recipe. for the times we spent together. Thank you for all of that. And to Dad, thank you. I'm looking down at all of you for everything, all the visits at the hospital. Not only the visit when Dad and Mom was on the farm. Whenever we found him, he used to say, "Oh, the family was here and it was fantastic." Kali said a lot about Dad. Minister, thank you. Thank you. To Margie coming all the way and to go from Bella Bella to share time with you people. When we were in hospital, when Dad was in hospital, thank you for everybody that was there. You always used to say, Diane and Hen and Charles and Julita and little Shani was there. When Dad was sick, you used to go and sit next to him, hold his hand. Thank you, Christy, for all the love and care. He was so excited when you phoned him from overseas. Jy sal nie weet wie my gebel nie. It's van oorsee. Dit is Christy. And to bring the smallest of our family to see him. He was so proud. And when we left, he said, "Sy's net so pragtig soos Christy." To all you people, thank you. For the person I want to thank the most is Jess. Jess, I'm proud to call you my sister. Nothing was ever enough for everything you've done all these years for Mom and Dad. The times you went to hospital, for the times you went to the doctors, to the specialist, for whatever they needed. They never needed anything because of you. Nothing was ever too much. We want to thank you. You're a very, very special person. And I want to thank the hospitals, St. Joseph, Met, for all their care and love. And I want to thank all of you for, is it Beatrice sitting there at the back? Thank you. Beatrice, dankie, dat jy soveel jaar na oupa gekyk het. Vir die tye wat jy gekom het en kom bid het vir oupa. Vir Maria, dankie dat jy so mooi na hom gekyk het. Vir Shorty, thank you for everything you have done. For Philip and Naona, thank you. For Kali, Gina, thank you for the inside information that you brought to us from hospital, that Dad was at ease and he got the best treatment ever. And that was to know it's who you know today, and that made it so much easier. I tried to speak to the doctor and they said they've done whatever they could. I want to thank you all. Thank you. En papa, ons weet jy is hier so by ons. En ons is baie, baie lief vir jou. En ek weet die 13de, wat jy vir ons op Justin se verjaarsdag. En om twee sulke sterk mans by mekaar te hê, en oom Roy. En jy sal nooit uit ons hart uitgaan, want ons het vir hier in ons harte. Baie, baie dankie vir alles. Dankie.
Thank you for sharing that with us. Is there anybody else who would like to just share some memories?
Just two quick memories that I have of Opa. The one was when Sergio and I went on holiday with Nana and Opa, and this was our first holiday as a couple going away with Nana and Opa, the first and only holiday we went with them to the game reserve. And we were at the Plains Berg and we were staying in Kwamartani. And It was a long drive there, and Sergio and I were exhausted, we all went to sleep that night. And the next morning, we woke up and Opie was sitting outside feeding the birds. And he was just sitting outside and he'd been awake since 5 o'clock. And Sergio and I both said, I don't know where Opie gets his energy from. And every day of the holiday, he would be the first one up, feeding the birds outside with nature, excited to see the lions and the leopards, and always telling us about what we'd missed because he'd woken up early and had seen everything. So I think it just echoes what Shani said about Opie loving animals. And then the other memory is just how Opa loved Nana so much, and it's definitely a relationship that we can all aspire to have. And he used to love joking about Nana, and one story that we've all heard is when Nana and Felicity were walking around the fire hydrant trying to post the letter. And Opie had to tell him, sorry, that's not a post box, it's a fire hydrant. And Opie always used to say, I can write a book about Nana. So just the love that he had for you, Nana, it's just really inspiring. Just the love that he had for all of his family. He was just such a pleasure to be around, and he was just, I think, for so many people, inspiration and our rock and just the cornerstone of our family. And we'll never forget that, and always hold on to the person that he was and how special he was to all of us. Just an amazing person. He was just keeping with us always in everything that we do.
Thank you. Anybody else? Sheila? She's about my size, so I'll just set this mic from my size.
I just want to say, when I first met you, I was a divorcee with 4 unruly little boys in that week. And after your father came, after his father came into their lives, he became a real father to them. And he was wonderful to them and to our other children. I always appreciate that. I think the boys will as well.
I've heard all these beautiful memories, but I've not once heard the word stubborn. He was a bit stubborn, wasn't he? Yeah, staying out on a farm, I supposed to be in St. Joseph. I remember one of the last occasions I had the privilege to visit with him, and he was sitting there looking out over some cattle, beautiful cattle, and he told me it was Dave's. But when I left, he said to me, you make sure you go back and tell Dave that I said those were my cattle. Dave, of course, immediately denied that it was Karel's cattle. Philip, I used to always get a bag of sliced biltong from your dad. Where are you, Philip? He's so big there you are. When I visited there, and so when I left, by the time I got to leave, he would always take out a piece of biltong slices and take it with. So make sure next time I come and visit that you have my biltong ready, please. How can you forget a man like this? How can you forget a man like this? We've asked Michelle today to come and lead worship for us in those strange circumstances. And she was so glad that she could do it. She was going to share some of this, but I think she's a bit emotional now. She wouldn't mind me sharing some of the thoughts herself that she shared with me this morning. It was a privilege this morning as we prepared for the service just to make sure that everything was in place and the slides work and the music is all okay, nothing is going to let us down. A few times we had some very emotional moments. Rachel came here, she found in this place where we are, this premises, this building, the buildings here, she found a safe haven in a time when she needed some place for her and the children to know that she's welcome and cared for. And she said to me this morning, she walked one day in the gardens and that, and she was thinking and feeling, there's so much in this place to give to the world. She saw the plants growing and everything so beautiful here, and she realized that God's placed her here in a place that's safe for her. And she was thinking about the people who made this possible. People like Karel, older people in this congregation have invested so much so that this can be a safe haven for people when they need it to be. The day after we asked her, and I asked her to sing the 2 songs for us, How Great Thou Art and Amazing Grace, that we can close with. Early in the morning she said, I just had a need, just like the Lord laid us on the heart, to sing something else also. And so she will sing for us, Come to the Father now, but before she sings that and plays that for us, it's the first time we actually do it in front of people. She's never really sang the song before, but she just had this sense that she needed to share this with us. And I just want to share one more thing. It was mentioned that Karel was present here this morning. And one of the emotional moments this morning as we prepared, and as she prepared, I had to go to do something, and she said she felt, she looked up and there was the presence of this huge man in this place. And I don't know if I'm going to get this across in a proper and correct way. You probably would have done it better, but he's present here today to share this moment with you so that he can go to his resting place until we meet one day again. And I asked her, like I normally do in circumstances like this, Michelle, what was the feeling you had at that moment? And she said it was one of calmness and one of joy. Is that it, Michelle? It was such an awesome moment. So Karel is with us today. Really. I'm going to stop talking now and hand over to Rochelle to sing to us, Run to the Father. Rochelle, you may say something if you want to. I know you never keep quiet.